Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the CAS 360 Singapore Level 2 sessions. Before we get started, we'll wait for a couple more minutes for the rest of the attendees to log in. So just gentle reminder, each session is recorded and all the attendees will be on mute. So if you have any questions, kindly post your questions in the Q&A section of your Zoom toolbar as well. I'll be also posting the link for today's training manual in the webinar chat as well. All right, so we'll get started. Once again, welcome for my CAS 360 Singapore Level 2 session. My name is Jennifer. I'm an account manager for Singapore, and I'm also be your trainer for today's training to help you learn more of the features in CAS 360. So in these sessions, we're going to cover more on advanced features that CAS 360 can offer. So you have a couple of features, which includes your reports. So reports allows you to streamline all your informations that you're stored and recorded in CAS 360. So in the reports lessons, we're going to learn how to prepare different types of report, which includes your company report, full company reports, people group report, which is on a report based on a contact level. We're also going to learn how to generate a full company register set, which is where you can locate in your company tab settings. In your lesson number 2, we'll learn how to streamline your annual returns reports, which helps you to navigate your respective features, including your AGM and annual returns. And we'll also learn how to generate your different types of reports, including the company listing reports, which will show and display your AGM and annual return key dates. And we'll also learn how to change a company status in your company, which will essentially affect how you processed your annual returns. In lesson number 3, we will learn more about preparing annual returns, AGM documents, and also preparing the XBRL. So in CAS 360, we do have an XBRL features that allows you to prepare XBRL financial statements and also plug it in onto your CAS 360. In your lesson number 4, we'll cover more on multi-company changes. So in CAS 360, you have the ability to apply a multi-company change to your companies, including change of officers across different companies. And also if you want to change the address that is shared across different companies and contacts. In lesson number 5, you will learn more on your digital signing. So how do we set up your respective digital signing account and to link it up to your CAS 360. So in CAS 360, we do have integrations with DocuSign, Adobe Sign, and FuSign. So in this lesson, we're going to learn how to set them up ready for you to use. Lesson number 6 will cover on the different settings. So in the settings tab of your navigation toolbar, you have the ability to adjust different things like your document templates, email templates, set your bulk, AGM, and annual return reminders, and also your lodgement settings and your email settings. So I'm just gonna quickly go here. So a very quick reminder. So we do have the manuals available for you in the section. So I'm just gonna quickly brief how to navigate in this soft copy manuals. So if you wanna easily access into the manuals content, you can simply click onto the bookmark. This will bring you and guide you to the specific page. You can also simply click on the hyperlinks. This will bring you to the specific content as well. So I'm gonna just go straight and jump into the software. All right. So just a recap of level 1. So when you log into your CAS 360, this will bring you to the main dashboard, which will show all the companies listed or you're managing. You have your navigation toolbar on the left-hand side and all the online resources, including your notifications, Singapore Help Guide, or reaching out to our supports and live chat support for assistance can also be found on the top right corner, which is what we call the resource hub. If you want to be able to switch between applications, like your MyBGL, if you, for example, you want to register for the NAS training or view your product license information, it can be found in MyBGL as well. And in the app switcher, you'll also be able to see the users. So if you're an admin account owner, this is where you can invite or manage the users that you want to add in, and also manage your MFA if you want to switch from a SMS as your to a multi-factor authentication to a authentication app. This is where you can locate these steps as well. So going back to the main dashboard, so on your navigation toolbar, you will find these tool over here called reports. So in CAS 360, we have different types of reports that you can generate, which includes your company listing reports, your document listing, even your registrable controller listing reports. So in the lesson 1, we're going to learn how to generate useful reports so it can help you navigate information in CAS 360. So first, we're going to learn how to generate what we call the company listing report. So in the company listings, you will find 2 tabs over here. We got the reports filters and report settings. So the report filters allows you to filter based on a jurisdiction. So for example, in my total companies in CAS 360, I have a total of 79 companies. If I were to filter only specifically Singapore companies, it will filter down to a total of 65 companies. So you can also stack in multiple jurisdiction as well. So if, for example, you want to include Singapore and Hong Kong companies, you can add that as well. You also have the ability to navigate based on your annual return order, company name based on ascending, descending, company number, or based on incorporation date. You can filter based on your annual return period, whether it's beginning of the January. If you want it until just a mid-year, you can also switch that as well. Usually my good practice is if you want to view the whole entire company with one full calendar year, just filter it based on December. Filter it based on agents as well. Generally, you will only select your company's corpus. Report date. So if you wish to actually generate a report that is on the past or information that has been recorded or historical or past office holdings, shareholdings, for example, that's still active or has not been resigned yet, you can usually do a backdated report based on the report date. Company status, so you have the ability to filter based on the company status. For example, if you do not wish to include a report based on a strike of company, you can simply remove that. company subclass options, company type, and also labels. So if you recall the labels, you have the ability to filter it based on your company or your labels. If let's say you are Amy, for example, you don't want to wish to see Amy's the company that Amy is managing, for example, you can just simply remove that. If you want to simply only view all the companies under your department or your label, for example, you can just simply select that as well. So in your report settings, the report settings allows you to adjust what kind of information that you like to display in your company listing report. So you have over here, I could choose to display my company name, company number, and all those items and fields that I want to display has been switched on to toggle button. If you do not wish to show this information, for example, you can simply switch off the toggle button as well. So to adjust, a very quick tip as well, in the company listing report, this report allows you to display your financial year end date, AGM date, previous AGM, show review return dates, and annual return last file date. So by switching on these feature, for example, this particular key dates, this will help you to display if you have any companies that you have not updated their key dates, or if you haven't added in any of these important dates as well. So now that I've set my settings to my respective filter that I like, I could just simply click export. So you can select whether on a PDF or Excel. This will then export a report format for me. So I've chosen a PDF format. And it will display the content based on my report settings as well. So I've switched on my financial year end, for example, my previous AGM, the return date. So this will display all the informations that I have recorded within my company's profile and display the ones that I have toggled on. So this is how we generate a company listing report. Now, the next report that we're going to learn how to generate is what we call the people group report. So people group report is similar to your company listing, but instead of the company level, we are generating information based on your contacts. So information that you have recorded in your contacts will be displayed in your people group report. So again, in the people group reports, you have the filter options. You can also show the company number. If in your contact you have a corporate information, a corporate contact, particularly if it's a corporate shareholder and you recorded it in your contacts. You can also display whether you want to display not just the current position, but also their historical positions, or the ones that have resigned or left the company. And similarly, you have the report settings. You can adjust the kind of information that you want to display. And simply click export. So I'm just going to select one person. For example, you can see over here, because I haven't selected one person, I can just simply click export and click PDF. So this will display based on my report settings, which includes my positions and my past positions for the multiple companies, whether I'm a shareholding, if this particular person has a shareholding in multiple companies, and other position as well. So you can see that this contact is also a registrable controller in multiple companies. So this is how we generate a people group report in CAS 360. So any questions so far before I proceed to the next report? All right, so if there's no questions, so we'll jump into the next report that we can generate under your reports tool. So similarly, in the reports tool, you also have the ability to generate the full company register set. So under your company registers, you can generate a particular register based on what you have selected over here. But if you want to generate the full company register set for a company, you can simply select this option over here. So again, we had two tabs available for you that allows you to filter your report. So here I've got over here, I'll filter based on Singapore. I'll just stick as all agents. Report date, I'll remain as today's date. I will just also remain to select all the companies that's assigned to all my labels. And you will also have your register. So here I have the ability to adjust the type of registers that I want to include in that full set. So I have already disabled auditors. So for example, if I do not wish to see register of auditors in my full set, I can simply just switch off that toggle. So what I have selected is these items that are toggled in yes. If you do not want to display, for example, your substantial shareholders, you can simply switch off that. So similar to the previous other reports where you can switch on and off the toggle button if you to control the information you want to display on your report. So you can save that settings and simply click on export. So you have an option whether to generate based on a single PDF per company or multiple PDFs per company. So by selecting a single PDF per company, what it means is that it will generate one single file of PDF for a company. So all the registers will be stored in one single PDF. Whereas if selecting your multiple PDF per company, which means what will happen is that CAS 360 will create a folder, a zip folder, which will have multiple or separate registers in PDF formats. So by selecting this, I'm just going to use an example of a company. Let's say company over here. By selecting multiple PDFs, this will actually help you to organize your full set of registers. So by clicking at to notify and to see whether your register is ready, you can simply go to your notification icon and click download. So you can see I've selected the multiple PDFs. So this will create, I'm just going to quickly show to you how it looks like. So this will create a single PDF per registers. Whereas if you select, let's say we'll prepare another one, an example again. By selecting single PDF, again, the same format, click OK. Select your bell notification icon to download. These, on the other hand, it will prepare a one single PDF file. Sorry about that. So it should generate one single PDF file. So it will look something like this, one full set. So instead of a single PDF, multiple PDFs per register, it will be just one single PDF. All right, so this is how we generate the full company register set in your reports tool. All right, any questions so far in this particular topic on reports? Otherwise, I'll go straight to my level 2, or rather my lesson 2, which is your streamlining your annual reports. So in your lesson 2, if you are using your manual workdown, this content can be found on your page 13. So we're going to learn how to use different types of company listing reports to help you navigate and process your annual returns and manage your annual returns. And in this lesson, we'll learn how to use our smart alerts to manage and keep track of your AGM and annual returns. To go back to the main dashboard, simply click on the BGL icon, or alternatively, click to Company tab. This will bring you to your main company selection screen. So on the left-hand side, you will see over here your advanced filters, and right below you is your alert filters. So a quick tip when navigating or filtering your alerts based on a specific jurisdiction. So you can simply click on the jurisdiction, select Singapore, and this will filter down, including the alerts available for that specific jurisdiction. So for Singapore's case, the alerts available will be your AGM alerts, document deadlines, and your AML CDT alert. So your AGM alerts, you'll be able to expand out the alert to different categories, which includes your financial year-end date approaching, AGM, and AGM due. For annual alerts, you can also expand the type of alerts under this category. So we have your annual return due, upcoming, date passed, process not filed, and process not filed and overdue. So I'm going to talk a bit more about this later and how to distinguish the difference of process not filed and process not filed overdue. So going back to the AGM, so in the AGM, by clicking this particular AGM alert, it will show to you all the alerts under the AGM, which includes these 3 alerts. Each of this color system will actually represent respective alerts that's indicated here. If you want to find out what the color represents, you can also do a very quick overview by simply putting your mouse onto this question icon, and this will display what each of this color will mean. So for example, the purple lavender will show it means this is the financial year end date approaching. Things over here like your pink magenta color will be your AGM meeting due date. So what's powerful about our alert system that in each of these alerts, as you put your mouse or hover your mouse into this alert and click, this will show and display the information of that alert. So for this case, this company is required to actually file and do an AGM by this deadline, and it's already past the AGM due date. It will also recommend the action or the task that needs to be done respective to this particular alert. So because this is the AGM due date is passed, you're required to either prepare an AGM, apply for extension, exempted from holding AGM, and so on. If the company is, for example, exempted for AGM, you can simply click exempted from AGM. And if you need to apply for extensions, you can simply click that as well. So for example, if you're exempted or from the AGM, you'll need to make sure that you fill out this prerequisite information. Let's say company is exempted. You should add in your information for here, for example, and click save. So this will automatically update the company based on what you have actioned in relation to that alert. You can also filter down based on that specific category of alert. So for this case, this specific subcategory under the AGM, we have the financial year end date approaching. I want to know what kind of action or task that needs to be done. So you can simply mouse over again to that particular alert, and this will display the information of that company. So for this case, it's required to hold an AGM since March. We haven't got anything. So, and the financial year end date is 30th of June 2025. So you'll just need to select and make sure you select the necessary action or steps for this particular alert. All right. So similarly for annual returns, we have all the subcategories as well. So for example, if you want to know what are the upcoming annual, annual returns alerts, you can simply see over here in green. It will show to you the annual return is upcoming on the 31st. And it will recommend you and show you what are the actions that needs to be done for this particular alert. So you can either prepare the annual returns at its upcoming, or if it requires applied extension for agent annual returns, then you have to click on this option. Currently, right now, I don't have upcoming. So this one is an example. A date has passed. So usually when it's date has passed, it's already past the the annual return date, so it's already overdue. So you must quickly action these alert. So we've got this process not filed and processed not filed overdue. So the difference with these is that when you are preparing documents or the annual returns in CAS 360, a general rule of thumb in the system is that you export the document out of the software, meaning you downloaded the document in your document production, or you send it directly to the client through the document production. So the system automatically recognizes that you've prepared and processed these company changes and also these AGM and annual returns. Now, let's say this particular company over here, you can see that it shows that annual return has processed, which means that I've already generated documents for this company, but it's already past that, that annual returns. these ones. I've already prepared it, but nothing has been done. It hasn't marked as filed, for example. So what you can do is go back again over here, right? So let's say we've already actually processed the annual return for the company, we've generated everything, but in my CAS 360 is displaying it's overdue, past that. So what you can do to remove this alert is just simply go to the returns, the return tab, search for that company, and select options, mark as filed. If the company doesn't require to file that annual return, for example, you can mark as file not required. Essentially, what you want to make sure, and generally, it will be marked as filed. So what you need to do is fill up the file date that you filed that annual returns. If you have a copy of your annual return filing, especially the ones that ACRA provides, you can simply attach that as a supporting document and click Save. So upon going back to my company selection, if I were to go back to my annual returns, process not filed, you can see that CAS 360 Singapore company is no longer there. If I were to go and search for that company as well, you can see in my company dates, this will also update your annual return filing. So depending on the information, the filing dates that you've added, automatically it changes or updates the next annual return due dates. All right. So any questions on the alerts? So if you go to your manual, you'll be able to see the description of the different annual return alerts. This can be found on your page 14 onwards. So each of these will show to you what these particular alerts represents. So you have the time, do explore this so that you can really maximize the use of our powerful alert systems. Alternatively, if you are on the software itself, again, you can always mouse over your cursor to display each of these alert and what does it actually represents. All right. So the next option that we're going to learn is generating your company listing. So this is something that I've already generated earlier on. So again, your company listing will help you show and help you to manage what are the annual returns that are upcoming, your AGM, and so on. So a very good practice to ensure that your company listing report is accurate is when you generate or when you put in all those key dates in the general details of the company, that will pick up in your company listing report. So for example, over here, if you've not displayed or if you've not updated your key dates, for example, over here, whatever dates that you add in or any records of these key dates will be picked up in your company listing report. All right. So the next exercise we're also going to learn in your lesson 2 is changing the status of the company. So going back to the main dashboard, we're going to select the company that we've created on Tuesday, June 17th. and clicking the profile. So once you click the profile, this will bring you to your General Details tab. Now to change the status of the company, simply select your status drop-down option, and you can select the type of status that you want. For example, if the company is a dormant company, you can simply select that as a dormant. Similarly, if this company is about to strike off, automatically your Prepare Forms tab or the button over here will appear next to your drop-down options. So if I were to select, let's say I want to strike off this company, I can simply click on the Prepare Forms. This will display the questionnaire. You can select the applicant's capacity for strike off, select which of the rector is applying for the strike off. If it's a company secretary, for example, I'll just select the corporate secretary for this company. You can also select the reason for strike off. And ensure that you have ticked the criteria that's displayed in the strike off. So once you have ticked all these criteria, you can simply click on Prepare Documents, and this will allow you to prepare your application for strike off, including your resolutions for strike off of company. So again, as what we've done in our previous level 2, to generate or process this document, simply send the document or click Download All. These documents will automatically be saved in your CAS 360 under the Company tab of the company or the Global Documents. So you can see that automatically this prepared the company status change. And you'll be able to see the resolutions and documents that has been processed for strike off of June 17 company. All right. So any questions so far in this particular topic? All right. So going back to the change of the status as well. So this change of status is particularly very important because these will actually affect the kind of questionnaires that you will require to go through for your prior to the annual returns. So for example, if the company is, let's say, a dormant, when you're preparing your annual return and your AGM documents, you will have to go through a series of questionnaire in relation to the status of the company. This because that CAS 360 will prepare the right annual return and also AGM documents in relations to the status of the company before or prior to the annual return date. Similarly, if you go this company, and let's say the company has a foreign branch, you can change it under your company type. If the company has switched to a small group company, you can also select it under your company subclass. Right. So any question on this particular topic? All right. So just a very quick reminder, your manual can be found on your webinar chat. So for those of you who haven't found it, I'm going to repost it again on the webinar chat. So you can access to this manual and also use it as a reference as we go along with the training today. All right. So this is for for lesson number 2, which is your streamlining your annual returns and AGMs. Now, we're going to jump to your lesson number 3 and learn how to prepare your AGM, your annual return filing, and XBRL. So in this lesson, on page 25 onwards, we're going to learn how to first prepare your XBRL ready for your annual returns, followed by preparing the AGM documents. So in your navigation toolbar, we're going to select your returns. The returns will display all the upcoming AGM AGM reminders or companies with the upcoming AGMs. It will also display your financial year end date. And if these information is inaccurate, again, make sure to always go back to the company's general details and update the company dates. If those companies in the list over here has already filed the annual returns, what you can simply do is go to the option tab. This is one example, and mark as filed. Having a bit of issue right now, so hopefully this works. All right, so unfortunately, I'm not able to because this account is currently a test product account. But essentially, if you want to make sure that you're marking off this particular company as filed, you can simply go to the option and mark as filed. Now, in the annual returns, you can find on the left-hand side what we call the annual return filters. You can filter based on the financial year-end date. So for example, if I only want to see anything under 2024, for example, this will filter down companies between 24th of January until 25th of 25th of May. So right now it will display all at the moment. So you can display in each, so you can filter based on calendar, month, and also based on a year. You can filter based on annual return overdue as well. And also on the filter side, you can filter based on the label. If you do not want to display all the companies, you just want to, again, display the companies in your label, you can simply select the label to choose from. All right. So going back to this page, now what we're gonna do first is we'll learn how to prepare the XBRL. So some prerequisite information when you're preparing XBRL is that you want to make sure that you first install the XBRL tool in your computer. So there are two ways to go about this. So first is when you select and when you're first starting to use the tool and you want to prepare the XBRL, it will prompt you to install the software. Alternatively, what you can do is you can go to this manual and click the XBRL. This will allow you to download the file to install the XBRL preparation tool. Also, you need to make sure that your user role has admin rights to use the XBRL tool. If you're unable to access to the XBRL or you're not able to run this tool, this means that your admin or your account owner of your company's CAS 360 has not assigned you to be a preparer for XBRL. For if you are an account owner of CAS 360 and you have role settings, you have the ability to manage that. What you need to make sure is that you go to your app switcher, click users, and whoever is the team member that's having a specific role. So for example, if let's say Jennifer is the accountant and you want Jennifer to be the one preparing the XBRL, need to make sure that the settings of Jennifer as an account with the accountant role has the XBRL enabled. If this is disabled, what's going to happen is that Jennifer with accountant as a role settings will not be able to prepare the XBRL even after installing. So always make sure that if you are assigning, for example, your accounts team preparing XBRL through the CAS 360, make sure that their role settings assigned to them has the functionality or XBRL financial statement settings switched on. So going back to my CAS 360, so I'm just going to select a company, one of my test companies over here. Now to prepare the XBRL, now that you've installed the software onto your computer or your laptops, you're now ready to prepare the XBRL by simply going to the Options tab and select Prepare XBRL. So now that my XBRL is already installed, so this will then launch my preparation tool. When you're first starting to use the XBRL, this will prompt you your username. So make sure that you've added in your correct username, and it will also prompt you to input your XBRL token key. Now, the XBRL token key can also be found in your user role settings. So going back to my applications, to retrieve the token management for my XBRL, simply go to my app switcher, users, and select admin. Under your admin, you will select token management and go to your Singapore XBRL token. Now you can see over here, that particular token that I have, it's already expired. It's because that this is for security purposes. Every time that it's already expired, you will require the preparer to generate the XBRL again. So click on generate. This is to generate the token key for the preparer to be able to access to the XBRL financial tool. So copy that particular token key and you want to go back to your XBRL. So remove the old token and paste the new one and validate. This will then prompt you that the XBRL financial statement for the companies in CAS 360, the firm, so the firm will be your CorpSec, your CorpSec company's company name will display over here, and you can simply click confirm and save. This will open up your XBRL tool. So I've got over here, so I'll go back again. I think it's switched off. So you can see that this is the company that you're preparing XBRL for, and it will also show the username. If you're preparing XBRL for the first time for the company, you can simply select New. And this will help you to generate and select whether it's a full XBRL or simplified version. So information stored in the CAS 360, like your UEND, your company name, your current period and start period, this will push onto your XBRL preparation. So these items over here, these records, these are coming from your CAS 360 general details record. So you want to make sure that all these informations are up to date before preparing the XBRL. So you can do a full set of financial statement. You can copy and paste your XBRL, rather your financial statement. So this is your full XBRL report based on the empty or from scratch if you're preparing it for the first time for a company. If you have a existing XBRL from the balance forward from the last year's XBRL, for example, or you've been working on it in another preparation tool and you want to use XBRL, CAS 360's XBRL, you can simply click open and select the file, the XBRL file. These will automatically populate whatever that has been saved into that XBRL. So I'm just gonna quickly select over here. So currently right now, it doesn't have any record, but automatically, whatever you have saved in that XBRL file, it will automatically recognize in this report. You also have the option to save and export by exporting it out. So if you want to work on this XBRL later on, you can simply export and re-import it back. Or if you're already done with your XBRL, preparing XBRL for this company and you want to just validate simply, you can simply click on Validate Export. So another process that's very useful with the XBRL is the Validate and Upload. So in CAS 360, the XBRL tool is linked to ACRA's validation check. So if, for example, you need to validate your XBRL, you can simply click on Validate and Upload. So currently, right now over here, it will not allow me right now because this is a dummy account. It doesn't exist in the database. So generally, if the company already has a record from the past or historical XBRL prepared before, and you want to validate it against ACRAS on the backend, you can simply click on Validate and Upload. So I do not have any actual company at the moment. All my companies are dummy company, unfortunately. So I'm just going to show to you a video of how a successful XBRL look like when you're preparing XBRL. So again, we want to go to your option tab and select prepare XBRL financial statement. This will prompt you to open and launch your XBRL preparation tool. So if you want to start from scratch, you can simply click on New. And you can also select the type of XBRL filing for this company that you're working on. So similarly, if you have already an XBRL file from your previous XBRL, prepared XBRL from a previous filing, you can simply upload that file as well. This will populate your historical XBRL. And as you can see on the left-hand side, it will also update your statements and notes for XBRL. So depending on what is stored in that file, CAS 360 XBRL will filter it down. So at the moment now, we're doing a validation. So the user here is validating the XBRL, and this validation is actually validating directly to Accra's XBRL records. So this is an example of how a genuine error will look like. So first you will have a record of your validation errors. And these errors are coming from Accra themselves. They'll provide you whether you have some possible errors and genuine errors that you need to correct. You will also have a copy of your XBRL as well. And to ensure that you want to have a successful validation, Just make sure to correct the necessary fields or items based on the genuine error. So essentially what the user is updating right now is it's updating the current start date and the period end date. So it was essentially an incorrect date and therefore it was not reading correctly. So you can revalidate it one more time with Accra. These essentially doing a real-time validation with Accra's XBRL records. And once you received a successful validation, you will get a notification of the successful validation. So this is an example of how a successful validation will look like. You can click on and download the PDF copy of your XBRL. This is the review copy. And just click I confirmed that the XBRL are accurate and complete. And you can simply upload. You will receive an acknowledgement page and just simply click yes. This will bring you back to your CAS 360. So in your prepared documents, if you want to generate your XBRL version, you can simply download this as well. So this is simply how we prepared XBRL. So unfortunately, right now, because of the recent disabling of lodgement process in CAS 360 due to Accra's decision to disable our API, so you'll not be able to do the lodgement directly to Accra via CAS 360. So hopefully this will be reinstated back. We'll definitely update all the users once these plans has been put in place and Accra is happy to allow other vendors, including CAS 360, to lodge annual returns via a software just like in CAS 360. Now, going back to my software over here, so also something to share when it comes to validating your XBRL. In CAS 360, under your returns and option tab, you also have the ability to do a validation. So let's say you prepare or you receive the XBRL file from your client's accountant, for example, and you want to revalidate it again. So you can simply select the upload financial statement, and this will ask you, it will notify you to log in your SingPass and your CorPass and ask for permission. So currently I don't have, as you can see, ours is disabled right now. So what usually happens is I'm going to just show to you an example over here. You can find it in the manual itself. So on all the page over here, so there is an option here to upload to Accra. So because my tool right now doesn't have that version, so essentially, if you want to prepare XBRL and upload it directly to Accra, you can do so as well. Now, these, on the other hand, these option upload, this is to allow you to revalidate again. So if the scenario is that you do not prepare XBRL, it's hand over by your account, your client's accountant, for example, and you want to just revalidate and the XBRL for annual return filing, you can simply drag and drop that XBRL tool and click validate. What will happen is that CAS 360 will prompt Accra's XBRL database to run a validation of that report to see if there's no error or any genuine errors or possible errors found in that report. And this will also prompt you to do the adjustment if there's error that been found in this validation. So unfortunately, I do not have the access to Accra. This is currently in the works. We don't know yet what's happening for the annual returns, but XBRL function, you are able to prepare the XBRL and also upload it directly to Accra using our XBRL tool. All right. So now that we have prepared an XBRL, so you are now ready to prepare the annual returns. So annual returns can be found on your page 34 of your manual. If you'd like to go ahead. So I'm just going to go back to my CAS 360. And again, your annual returns can be found on the returns button over here, which will list down all the upcoming annual returns that you have based on the filter of the financial year end date. So to prepare your annual returns, you can simply click on Prepare Documents, and this will bring you to your Prepare Annual Return Documents for this company. In this page, you will see two tabs. One is Annual Return Data. The other one is Annual Return Minutes Data. This is particularly important for you to answer all these questionnaires and record down all the details that's required, as this is the information that will display in your annual returns and also your AGM minutes data. So an example over here, the status, you can change whether it's solvent, insolvent, or EPC. If the company is audit exempted, if it's not, you will need to make sure that the financial statement has been audited. If the financial statement is audited, you will require to add in your auditor for that company. So let's assume it's exempted from audit. You can switch the toggle button on. You also have the ability to select whether it's required to process an AGM. If the company is dormant, for example, it will also display whether it's a company is a dormant and exempted from for audit. If it's required, simply select that. If it's not required, you can simply select that as well. So if it's a dormant, exempted from AGM and it's a private dormant company, you can simply select that options. Once that's, you will want to make sure you proceed to this tab over here called Annual Return Minutes Data. This information that you have selected inputted as well will display in your AGM Director Minutes and AGM Members Minutes. So always make sure that you have fill up this information If the company has an auditor, for example, and you need to reappoint the auditor, make sure to add that in. So if, let's say over here, I've got, if I were to select these an example, you can see that additional questions will appear as well. Want to make sure that all these things are filled up. You can reappoint the auditors. If you need to disclose also your director's remunerations. And if the remuneration has a sub descriptions, additional description about the remuneration, you can add that in as well. You can add in multiple informations, otherwise remove, it's not necessary. Director's fee, and if you have re-election of directors. Once you have filled up that information, you are now ready to save and prepare the documents. I'm just going to switch this back in. Hopefully, comes right. I'm gonna just select another company. So I think this currently not working. So again, similarly, I have some informations already pre-filled up. Save and prepare. This will then bring me to my document production. So when preparing annual returns and AGM, you need to go through that process before CAS 360 allows you to prepare both annual returns and AGM documents. So by default, it will generate these lists of companies. If you need to generate audit exempt statement, you can switch on the toggle button. So by default, these will be the documents that will generate. So you've got a copy of the annual returns. So most importantly, this section over here, if the registrable controller registers and the nominee directors register is kept in the registered office of this company, it will by default show these text instead. If it's in a different location, it will display the address where the registrable controllers and nominee director registers are kept. So make sure that when prior to your XBRL, you want to make sure that your addresses over here. So I'm just gonna go exit out. So let's assume over here, I use the same company. This section over here, if the register is over here, just to show to you, if the address is different prior to that annual return that you're filing, then make sure that you have updated it accordingly. So going back to that document production, so again, you'll have your annual returns and also you have your AGM director minutes and resolutions, your members minutes and resolutions as well. So earlier on, if you recall, all the information that are input in your annual return data and annual return minutes data, it will display in your members minutes and directors resolution. So similarly for your members' minutes, that will display as well. So again, once you've done that, simply send the document directly to your client, or you can just download the document. So again, the moment you download a document out from the document production, CAS 360 will create a folder in your global documents or the company documents of that company. So here it will show to me that I have just generated out an annual return documents and save, and you can view the documents by clicking on attachments. If you need to download it again for your copy or your other client's copy, you can simply download it from here. So in this section, once you've already filed, so unfortunately we don't have the lodgement like we used to before, which hopefully we can reinstate it back. Once it's reinstated back, you can actually do the lodgement process through here. Otherwise, for now, if this has been successfully lodged directly to Accra by logging into Accra, a very good practice and habit is to just simply change the status of this document. So again, you can actually mark manually filed. And make sure that in this company, it has been updated accordingly. So this is how we processed and prepare your annual returns and also your AGM documents in your CAS 360. Now, one of the common questions about AGM documents is customizing. So this can be customized in your document production. And also, this also can be customized under your settings. So we'll cover this in a bit later of your level 2. So any questions so far before we can proceed to the next lesson? All right. If there's no questions, I'm gonna go to our next lesson, which is your multi-company changes. So in your navigation toolbar, you will see this particular tool over here called multiples. So multiple allows you to apply a multi-change to a company or a contact if you are doing a multi-change. So by default, when you're first starting CAS 360, you will see something like this in your multi-change page. So the first exercise that we're going to learn in the multi-company change is learning how to change a registered office address across multiple companies and multiple contacts. This is particularly useful if, for example, you are the service provider for for multiple companies and clients, and they use your registered office, your company's office as a registered office address. All right. So you can simply click on the new change and select under your company address change category, select registered address. So let's use one example of a company. So generally, sometimes a company address is shared among other multiple addresses, which for an example would be this company over here. So I want to change the address, the current address of this company. So I can simply select, let's say, Changi Business Park. You've got your resolution date, and you will also have multiple questionnaires as well. If the premise is occupied by someone other than your company, you can tick as yes. Otherwise, if there's no occupant, you can just remain toggle off. You also be able to apply this address change to multiple company address by switching on the toggle button. If this same current address is applied to a business, postal meeting, and register, the location of your registers, you can simply switch on the toggle button. You also be able to see if the company, if these address currently attached to this company is used by other address as well, other companies. So you can see that apply change where company's registered address is the same. You can see that 17 August company used the same registered address as the CAS 360 Singapore company. You can simply switch on the toggle button, but if not, you can switch off that. So that will not apply for that company. If you want to apply that, simply click yes. Otherwise, you can just retain as no. Similarly, it will detect if this address is being used by other contacts. So I've got over here another company contact using that. It looks like a corporate shareholdings contact. I can simply switch on the toggle button. So once I've applied or select the necessary settings, I can simply click on proceed. So here, this will automatically prepare the necessary documents that's required for this change. Because this is a change of a registered address, this will then automatically prepare the necessary resolutions for me for a change of address. So for this case, is the change of contact address. It will prepare a director minutes and resolution for me. So you can see that not only that these this company so these you can see that these companies has this particular corporate contact attached to their company as a shareholder, and it's going through a address change. So you can automatically just simply click and prepare to do the necessary preparation of the change of address for that shareholder, for example. So this is how we process the change. Now, I have a question, a very quick question about adjusting the resolution dates. So when you're preparing documents in your document production, you will notice that each of the document will have options. Now, a very good rule in CAS 360 or practice is that when you see these buttons over here, always make sure to click on it, as this will allow you to display the different types of settings that you can adjust for each of the documents and transactions. So for example, this is something that has to do with document settings. So you can just simply click on the option, which allows you to customize whether it's a minutes, if it's a minutes or resolution type, the resolution date, signing if you want to adjust based on date, print date on each signing line or print date before the signing line, the date format. If you do not wish to include the resolution date in the heading, you can simply switch off that toggle button. And if you do not wish to apply your document date, leave the document date blank and applied. And if, for example, you want to apply this document date on each document, you can simply apply this document. Generally, most of the practice, you do not like to put your dates on there, so you can see simply leave the document date blank. This particular setting is not only exclusively for these particular transaction, but it's also available to all director minutes and resolutions. So you can simply save so that it will not display the date. So this is how we adjust the dates format, where if you do not wish to display the dates of the resolution in your document productions. All right, so I hope that answers the question. So any questions so far in your registered office address multi-change? Otherwise, I'm gonna do another example under this category. I'm gonna learn how to do a change of officer in multiple companies. So generally, when you have a contact that is attached to multiple companies, and if this person either left multiple companies, resigned multiple companies, or maybe deceased, for example, but it's attached to multiple companies, the fastest way to process this document is by using the multi-company change. So again, in the same page, you can simply click on New Changed, and this time round, we will select under your company change category, Officer Change. So let's say I want to select, for example, Veronica Tan, and I want Veronica Tan to be a director, appointed as a director, or let's say appoint her as a secretary, for example. So I can simply use this process, click next, and I can apply this to multiple companies. So this is particularly useful if you're doing a bulk appointment of secretary for your clients. Let's say I have new companies that onboarded. I want to apply my secretary position to these new companies. I can simply click on these companies and proceed. This will automatically list down again the list of companies that applied as a secretary for the company. So you can see that by clicking prepare forms, automatically it will do the necessary appointment of secretary for this list of companies I've just selected. So this is the fastest or efficient way if you want to apply or appoint a secretary to multiple companies, for example. So because I've already processed that on that particular company, and one of which is the 111 company private limited. So I'll do another example for 17th November company. You can just click prepare and select download. So I'm just going to, I'll just switch off these first and then click download. So each time I process this document change, So you will no longer see it in the list. You can see that 17 November is no longer there. So after the moment you click on prepare the forms, this company will be removed in this multi-change list. If you still see list of companies over here, it means that you haven't processed that multi-company change yet. You haven't downloaded those company changes for that company. So similarly, if, for example, you want to resign let's say, yourself as a secretary, for example, or if you want to resign yourself as a director, it's a similar process. It will allow you to select resigned, automatically non-attendee. You can select the resolution this date, and you can see an example over here. This particular person, David, I think David Tan, is a officer in these companies over here. So if I want to, let's say, remove David or resign David for this company, I can simply select that. And you can see David over here and prepare the resignation of documents. So this is a very great option if you're doing a bulk change of position, chain of the for a officer. So instead of having to go to each of the company one by one, you can simply do multi-company change of a officer using our multi-company change. All right. So any questions so far for the multi-company change? All right. Now, if there's no questions, then we're going to go to our lesson number 5, which is on your page 48 onwards, your digital signing. So as you notice along the way when we're preparing documents through our document production, you will notice a icon that is enabled, which looks like a signing icon. That is what we call the digital signing. In CAS 360, we have 3 integration partners integrated with us through a two-way integration, meaning that the information gets pushed into the digital signing platform, and in return, any updates about the signed documents will be pushed by the digital signing to CAS 360. To switch on your digital signing, you can simply go to your settings and select electronic signings. Here, I've got already 2 digital signing linked up to my account. I have a DocuSign and ViewSign. You can see that by default, my default digital signing is my DocuSign, and I can have an option to switch between the digital signing platform if I wish to. Now to set up, simply go to your BGL integration. This will open up your page. And you can see right over here, this is my active digital signing account. I've set this thing up as my default. If I want to switch to another of my linked up digital signing platform, I could switch on the toggle button. And if you haven't linked up your digital signing account, you can simply click on the settings icon and connect your digital signing account to CAS 360. Now, a prerequisite information as well that I have to let all the users know is that something important when you're purchasing or deciding the digital signing, especially for Adobe and DocuSign. Now, for DocuSign and Adobe Sign, you need to ensure that your digital signing account is an enterprise account. So I'm just going to share these information. This is from, so you can locate this in your Singapore Help Guide. So again, if you want to locate that, it's under the Singapore Help Guide, under digital signing. So these are the three digital signing that has been linked up at the moment. And in each of the digital signing partners we have, they have different criteria that you need to make sure of. So one of which is that you need to make sure, for example, for DocuSign, you purchased a advanced solutions, which allows you to have a two-way integration with CAS 360 and DocuSign. For Adobe Sign, you will have to make sure that your Adobe account is not just a commercial or standard account. It has to be enterprise account to be able to utilize. If you're trying to connect your commercial or your standard account to CAS 360, it will not work because again, the criteria with this, the partnership and criteria with DocuSign and Digital Sign is an enterprise or advanced level. If you want to find out more how to know if your Adobe Sign or is enterprise account, please reach out to the account managers of Adobe Sign or DocuSign, or check with your support. It will teach you how to check your license information if you have the suitable license to link up with CAS 360. So I'm going to share this link as well. If you are still in the process of looking for digital signing platform, which one to purchase, you can simply refer to the link that I've put in the webinar chat. This will actually show to you as well. Another link that I'll like to provide as well is this summary over here. So this will give you a bit of an overview of what's digital, which of these digital platforms that allows you, let's say, you support multi-signatories, download partials, and so on. This will help you to make to decide which digital signing platform that you like to purchase among these three and maximize the use of that. Now, going back to CAS 360, now that I've already switched on my DocuSign, so we will prepare one of the documents as well that we have prepared in prepare. So I'll give an example over here. So we'll just do a very simple process. So I've got over here officers change. So let's process a appointment of officer. For example, I'm just going to prepare Alexis as a director. And automatically this will bring me to my document production. So I'm just going to remove this resignation. So it will just be appointment of Alexis. And as you notice in the document production, you will see that my digital signing has been switched on. So with these settings, also you have the ability to adjust your electronic signing. So for example, let's say this transaction, you do not wish to do digital signing for this particular document pack. So you can simply switch to none and click save. This will automatically switch off the digital signing. So by default, when you switch on your digital signing and link up with CAS 360, it will select the defaults digital signing account. So for my case, my default was DocuSign. All right. So I'm happy with that. So email option. So with digital signing as well, this one I'll cover this in our settings on the lesson number 6 settings, which will help you to customize your email templates. So here I've got the master template that is by default. If I want to select my own email template that I have customized, I can just simply put that as well. So here I can simply send the document. So by default, the right process to do a digital signing is by simply sending it directly to the client. So this would then be sent to the respective emails of the client, and they will instead receive a digital signing link. So I'll use another example because I think this is not probably the correct one. And see right here. I'm just going to use a very quick example so that you'll be able to see. Okay, so I'll use this one an example as it's linked to my email. Just gonna again do the same process, apply, assign this particular contact as a director. So by default, my prepare forms, my digital signing has been switched on. So you can simply send directly to the client, to all the signing partners right here, and click send. So let's assume that I am Alexis Chan. I will received an email from no reply at CAS 360 with the digital signing link. So right over here, I will receive the emails. So you can see an example. Just gonna show to you an example right here. So let's assume I am Alexis Chan. So you can see that instead of a PDF format, I will receive a link. So this is my customized email. And as a signing partner, as Alexis, I need to sign this document. So this will bring me to connect me to the digital signing DocuSign. So as the signing person, I don't need to have a account with DocuSign. It's not required. The only person that requires the account is the service provider, the one who has the CAS 360 license account. So click review the documents. So just start. This will bring me to the page where I need to sign. And once I click finish, as Alexis, I will have the option to download my signed copy or email the signed copy to my email. So I'm going to go back to this page now that I've signed. So let's assume we're going to sign another set of documents. We've got over here, I'll just sign the document and finish that as well. So hopefully I've received another email. So we'll just check again. So I've got Kate Lim as well. So let's assume this is Kate signing the document. And I'll click finish. So again, I will have an option to have the signed document. Right. So as the preparer will send the document for signing, I will receive a notification in my notification icon to show who are the people that signed those documents that I sent across. So if I were just to refresh this for a moment, I think I should be able to refresh. So I will receive notification that all those document has been signed, including from Kate. You can see over here. So it's now showing me that Kate Lim has signed the documents, Jennifer and also Alexis has signed the document. And when all the signing partners have signed the documents, the digital signing, DocuSign or Adobe Sign or FuSign will prompt you or notify you that the whole entire documents has been signed completely by all the signing partners. Now, the beauty of the digital signing is that when you click on view the documents, this will bring you exactly to the attachment to the folder and automatically save the digitally signed document. So let's have a look at this document over here. So you can see these are the digitally signed documents. It has been completely signed. And you will also receive a certificate of completion from the digital signing platform. So generally, the digital signing platform will give you a timestamp on when it was signed, who signed it. So this is for you to have a record of the digital signing. And as you close these document, you will see that the status will automatically change from DocuSign signed by client. If the document pack has not been completely signed by all the signing partners, what usually happens is that the status will still remain as DocuSign sent signed by document sent to client, for example. So it will look something like this. So which means that you don't have the complete signature of all the signing partners. It hasn't updated the status. So the beauty of digital signing is that you don't have to chase after the client and change the status. It will help you keep track the status of the document that all has been signed. So this is how we processed your digital your documents through digital signing. All right. Any questions so far for the digital signing? Otherwise, I'll go to the lesson number 6 on the settings. Now, the settings tab allows you to customize the look and feel of your documents, emails, and also adjust the settings of your filing agents, which particularly where you record your corpus. and also your bulk reminders. So under the settings, you will see the different tabs. As you recall, on level 1, you have the lodgement aging settings, where you can add in your corpus information. You've got your document template. So this is where you can upload your customized template. You can also customize your email template. As you recall, when you're trying to send an email directly through CAS 360, there is an email content email page will allow you to add in the content of your email. You can also create a default template for that by saving it under your email templates. SMS right now, we don't have it at the moment for Singapore. And then you also have the email settings. So a very quick tip in the email settings is that when you are actually adjusting, for example, if you want your full name to display in your client's inbox, you can simply switch on the toggle button. So by default, usually it will show your company or your firm's name. But if you want your client to see your exact name, you can simply switch on the toggle button. By default in CAS 360, when you're sending an email directly through the software, it will show as no reply at cas360.com.sg. To customize your setting emails into displaying your company's email instead of no reply, you can simply request for custom email address to send email from CAS 360. So instead of having the no reply, it will be, let's say, corpsec team at aaacompany.com.sg. Now, a very also quick tip that because this is unique to a company or a company level on a company level site, so you want to make sure is that you use an email address, a general email that is accessible across all your team members. So let's say your department has a general email that you use. Let's say sales and marketing team has all access. All your email, your unique email addresses is linked up to that general email. It's best to use the general email as the custom email so that everybody can receive that email as well on the back end, especially when your unique email address is linked up to that general email. Now, if you do not wish to use a custom email, as custom email is additional one-off fee of 500, you can also choose to CC your email address. So some users, they will retain the no reply, but they will by default CC their email address to show or also allow them to see how it will look like in an inbox or a standard inbox format, how an email will look like. So you can either, if the client didn't receive it, you can at least forward it to client using the ones that you receive in your inbox. You can also BCC that particular, if you want to BCC as well, you can do so. Now, these ones, no reply, this is a very useful settings because the standard email is no reply. You can actually switch this on by allowing your client to reply to that no reply, but will automatically change into your email's address. So I'll use an example just to show to you one example, which is the one that we have earlier on. So I'm going to use this one earlier on this particular email. I hope everybody can see. If I want to reply to this email, automatically it will create the email address of that CAS 360 user. So it won't send to the no reply. It will automatically send to to that email of that preparer, which is, you can see over here, because username as the reply to address, that will automatically change to that email. So let's say the client, oh, I want some changes in my resolutions, you will receive the email. So this, I would recommend you to switch on in your settings, so that if, let's say, your client won't be aware that that email is no reply, and they want to reply to that email thread, it will automatically switch to your username, which is your email address. All right. So any questions on the email settings? Right. So if there's no questions, all right. So I'm gonna go, before I cover on the customization of the templates, let me just put your attention on these icon over. This is a very useful tool called automated reminders. In CAS 360, you have the ability to set a bulk AGM and annual return reminder to your clients. To set the bulk reminder, go to your automated reminders, select AGM reminder, and make sure to switch on this toggle button. So by default, this one will be switched off. So to enable the settings, switch on that settings, and you can simply set up to 6 reminders. So this is an example of what I've done. I have set a 90 days before the deadline, and I can select whether the deadline is based on AGM due date or based on the financial year end date. I can also select the time that I want it to be sent to the client. Let's say I want to send it to at 11 a.m. by email. And again, if I have a custom email template for a automated AGM reminder, I can select that email. So once you've set that, you can set another reminder, 60 days. You can see that I have 30 days and then 7 days. It will, once you save that, what will happen is that it will apply this reminder across all the companies and read the AGM based on the AGM date. So any of the companies, all the companies' AGM, 90 days before, they will receive a reminder. A good practice is that, again, it's very important that your key dates, company dates stored in your general setting for each company is up to date. If the date is not up to date, it's an old date, this will not work. So you want to make sure that the dates are up to date. Similarly, for a document reminder, so under the document reminder, you need to switch off on the toggle button. So we have in other jurisdiction as well. Got for Singapore. And you can set a deadline reminder about the annual returns up to 90 days for the document deadline reminder. So this is for document deadline reminders. Similarly, we have for annual returns. So you can set 30 days before the annual return filing dates to remind them about confirmation of the annual return information. And if you want to set a automated reminder for some documents, you can set that up as well. So if let's say you have sent out, you've prepared out a document to the client, and you set up a reminder. You can set up a automated document reminder about the document that you have just sent or prepared to the client. So these deadline is it's based on the day that you exported, you download or send off to the client. So you can apply this reminder. So instead of having chasing them after, it will also send them a reminder that for them to sign automatically based on the day that you have exported or sent the document from the document production screen. So that's the automated reminders in CAS 360. Now I'm going to go straight to the email templates. So email templates have the ability for you to organize or to set up the email content that you want to display when you're sending an email directly from CAS 360. We do have different types of codes that you can input to help you pull out informations, companies' informations, particularly onto the template itself. So you don't have to keep typing in manually the company's information. So you can see the codes by going to your guide, Singapore guide. And these codes can be found in our category called CAS 360 Dictionary. Under the email templates codes, it will list down to you which kind of templates that are customizable for email category. So I will share this particular link into the webinar chat. Do have a look at this. I highly recommend you to start playing around this and save this into your bookmark so you can start customizing your email template and use the email function using CAS 360. So an example be your document deadline reminders. You can customize that. So going back to my CAS 360, here I do have a different categories of templates. Let's say I want my document reminder to be customized. I can simply click on that category to create new, simply create new, and select that template. So I'm just going to delete that as I have already several templates over here. So you can see an example of my customized template. I've added in my own text. You can just remove whatever text that you have. And you can see right in the middle, there are several codes that I have input into my content, my email content. I've paste my signature. And even in the header itself, you can also input the code onto the header. So I want to display the company number and the company number that I'm sending it through. So for example, just gonna go back again to here, document deadline reminders. You can see these are the codes I can use when editing my document deadline reminder email. So I've got my company number. If I want to display the company name, I can simply go copy that and simply add this in. So that this would display as my company name with the UAN number, for example. So you have the firm name. So firm name is essentially your organization's name. So if you do not wish to add that in, you can just simply add in your username. So if I were to go back, for example, this is the client's name. I don't want to display the firm name. It's going to be my first username. And my username is essentially my email address. So I can just simply remove that. So it will display my email address into the email text. And once I've done that, just click update. And if you want to set your customized email template as a default, you can simply select as make default, so that every time you prepare a document deadline reminder in your email templates, or in your, for example, in your document reminders, for example, then you can just simply set it as default. All right, so that's how we customize an email template in CAS 360. Now, the next that we can customize in your in CAS 360 are the documents templates stored in your document templates tab. So again, under the settings, this can be found in your document templates. By default, it will show to you all the Singapore templates available for Singapore. If you are customizing a template for another jurisdiction, you can simply filter that down. By default, we'll select Singapore. And if you're selecting a category of templates, you can simply search it in your search. So you can see director minutes and resolution. So this is generally the most common one that we customize. And click on the director minutes category. This will show to you the master template. So master templates are your system default. So when you're first starting using the software and they're testing out, you'll notice that there's a system default template that CAS 360 produces. So this is where these templates is coming from. This template cannot be deleted. This is a set permanently provided by the system itself. So to customize these template, if you want to have your own director minutes and resolution, a good habit is to first download this template, because since this is a master template, there are settings in this Word document that the software can recognize. A standard Word document that you upload directly from your computer onto your CAS 360 will not automatically be recognized by the software due to the back-end coding. So there's a coding that prompts the system to recognize what kind of text to appear, what kind of layout, what kind of company data information to display onto the Word document. So a good practice is to first download that document resolutions. So I have an example. So this is when I download these, this is how it will look like. So this is a default. You will notice this. This is how a default template would look like. All right. I'll just close this one more time. I'm just gonna quickly open this up. So this is your default. Now I have exclusively for all my level 2 trainings, I do have a Singapore style template that I'll be sharing after the training. So please, I will give this, send it across to all the attendees. If you do not receive it for the next couple of days, do let me know. Or if you want to share this to another team members, to let me know the email address as well. You can provide it to me, but I'm just going to show to you how an example of my director minutes and resolution template. So this is the template that I have set up. This is a Singapore style formatting of header. You can see the difference from the master template. It's totally different. And I've added in a customized code. All right. So there's a different, it looks a little bit different. So essentially, some of these codes will manipulate the text, how the text will display. And it will also pull out data information from your CAS 360 database. So for example, if I were to just, let's say I want to remove, I don't want the company, I just want to have the company name, for example. I'm just going to put that here. I want the company number. So this is the code for it. Generally, we don't really put the address. So I'll just let it as it is. I'll just the company name as well. So you can remove this header if you want. Just put it in the middle. And I'm just going to copy the way I've actually recorded or did this template, just to give you an example. Now, so this is how my remaining existing code. And I want to change how it displays my header. So what I'll do is I'll go back to my CAS 360, go to my dictionary and select Singapore Help. So again, we'll have to select the CAS 360 Singapore dictionary. And this time around, we're going to select document template codes and select document templates. So under the document templates, this will display all the documents that can be customized for a Singapore jurisdiction documents. I'm going to share these as well into our webinar chat so you can fully utilize this. And because we're customizing a director minutes and resolutions, you're going to have to select these category of text. So in this list, these are the codes that you can use for a director minutes and resolution. So this is the specific codes, right? So you got your company name, your company number, and so on. You have your meeting addresses, registered office address, and so on. You have your company address change. If you want to have it display, you can do that. And a very quick tip as well in this particular list is that when you scroll the way down, do search for what we call miscellaneous. So miscellaneous code has the ability for you to change how you display a text, whether if you want it to uppercase or just lowercase, you can add that in. And similarly, if you scroll the way under the date formats, it will allow you to change how to display a date. So let's say you want your date to be, for example, this format or this format, you can customize that as well. So let's assume I want these probably this format of my my dates. Or maybe I can use this format, for example, on my dates. I can copy and paste. And here on the right-hand side, it will display to you the correct way of inputting those codes. So you need to make sure that they are copied or input in this manner so that it will be able to prompt your data to display onto the documents. If this is not inputted correctly, then the system couldn't read the code that you have just put into your template, and therefore it will not be able to pull out the data to display onto the template or to your documents. So you want to make sure you follow the way it has been input. Now going back to this section over here, so to my miscellaneous code, is I want to have certain text to be uppercase, like my header. So I can just simply select this. So I'll just copy this and make sure that I have inputted in this manner. So I'm gonna go to my my document. I'll put in the code, for example, over here. And not just that I want uppercase, I will also want it to be bold. So if you want your text to be bold, you can use the function in your Word document to make it bold. Unfortunately, for the uppercase part, this one, you will have to use the code from the dictionary to make sure or to turn your text into uppercase. So I've got that text. I'm just gonna follow how we usually like the format. So this is your Singapore Incorporated. If you already have your existing template on hand, so you can just simply copy and paste that as well. So I've got these texts as well. You can add it in. So again, company number, these are the codes, data that I want to pull out to prompt onto my code. So I'm just going to retain it as it is. I can make it bold, for example. Copy here. So you can see this is the text as well. I got this text from my old free form document, my own template. So I'm just gonna write it over here. Now, because this the rest of this text is uppercase and also in bold, so I need to make sure that again my uppercase code is has been added into the code. So it should display just fine, and then you can add in whatever in this section if you liked. Now I customize my header. So you can also customize the body text. So the body texts are all here. Now, because this is a director minutes and resolution, this means that all transaction that needs director minutes and resolution, whether it's a company officer's change, a shareholders change, changes address, a company level change, a change of address, or even for AGM documents. So AGM documents are all found in the very bottom last few pages of these templates. So you can see these are my share templates. So if you scroll all the way over here in this section here, you can see these are actually your AGM templates or directors. So this is your AGM directors resolution template. This can be found there. So this is a very common question. How do we customize my AGM documents? Depending on which one your documents. So the first question is, are you customizing a director AGM? If you are, it can be found in your director's minutes and or resolution category. If you're preparing a AGM members minutes, it's in the members minutes resolution master template category. So just scroll all the way and let's assume that I'm gonna go back over here. I'll do a very simple change. So let's assume I will do a appointment of director. For example, let's do a customizing appointment of director right here. So you can customize, add in your additional text. So I can just simply add in here, sample text, just to show to you how it looks like. You can customize this text as well. If you want to display company director of the company, and you want to display, for example, the company's name. Again, going back to the code. So I'm just going to go back again. I'll just close these to the same page of my director minutes and resolution list. I'll scroll the way to the code where I can call out the company name. So here I've got this company name over here. I'm just going to simply copy that, go to my code, select that, and I want to display also the company number. And again, so if you recall earlier on, so I'm going to go back again. I want to change the way I display my dates. So I can simply select a code over here. So for example, I want my date to display this manner. I can simply copy that and make sure that when I insert it into my text paragraph, I've inserted it correctly as well. So make sure that's inserted correctly, because sometimes if you don't insert it correctly, it will not display. The system will not be able to recognize the code that you have just added in. So now that I'm happy with that text, this templates, I'm just gonna save this template as it is. We'll put it as today's date. Close this Word document, and we're gonna go back to your CAS 360. So again, we'll go back to your settings, document templates, and select your director minutes and resolution category. So now that you've customized the template, you can now upload the customized template you've just customized, and it will be saved in that category. Now, by default, it selects the mass system default. If you wish to use your customized template as a system default across all the companies, so that every time you prepare, let's say, your director minutes and resolutions, it will display your customized text paragraph. So if I do an example over here, I'll select a company, and I'm just going to simply do a quick reprinting, or rather reprinting of this document as a appointment of director. You can see that if I were to preview my director minutes and resolutions, it will automatically display my text as how I've customized it. You can see over here that it displays my company name. So, and if you notice earlier, I've added in the UN number, but it did not display properties, because, which means the way the code was input was incorrect. So this is what's going to happen if you don't input the code correctly. As I put the a comma or something. So I might have like not added in correctly. So I need to correct that part to display it correctly. See, we got your director, and the way I've changed the way I display my dates and then the text that I've added in as well. Now, if you have multiple customized director minutes and resolution template, you can save them all in that director minutes and resolution category. And if you want to switch between templates, you can simply go to your options and select your director minutes and resolution. So I can switch back to my system default. And you can see that it will show back the previous template. This is the one. So the great thing about in the document production that even if you have set a default template, you can still switch back and forth the template that you want to apply for that particular resolutions. Similarly, this one's also available in your members. So you can see I have different sample of resolutions that I've customized for members. So I've got these ones, I've got these ones as well. So I can just simply select which template I want to use. So that's how we customized templates on CAS 360. Any questions so far on how to customize? Now that's pretty much like a basic customization. So essentially, if you want to customize, it's definitely, it takes quite a practice to get used to the customizations. Once you get the hang of it, you can really utilize and maximize the use of those codes to pull out data from your CAS 360 database onto your documents. You don't have to type them manually as well. Now, going back to the document production screen, so another also way to customize your document, especially if it's a one-off transaction, only particularly on this transaction, is by simply switching off the document. Let's say you do not wish to use the document prepared by CAS 360. You have your own director minutes and resolution. What you can do is you can simply close that document. And if you have any additional document, you can simply upload that in. Usually what we recommend is that you can have it over here. I'm not sure whether it's going to show. So I'll just switch off one of my documents over here. So because I'm selecting, I don't want to use any templates from stored in CAS 360. I have my own customized resolutions. I can just simply upload that. But let me check it, see if it will work on this particular template. Yeah, so you can see that these template I just uploaded. This is just a random Word document template I've uploaded earlier on. So if you have, for example, a customized Word document that you have and you don't want to utilize on the template customization, you just want to upload your own version of your external director minutes and resolution, you can simply switch off that document from the document production and upload your own. But this process, the only thing is that whenever you prepare, let's say I prepare again another um, director minutes and resolutions, you will need to go through that similar process again. So it's not going to be default. You will have to make sure that you switch off that the document that the system generates and upload your customized version onto the document pack. What I always recommend is customizing, because once you've customized and save it in CAS 360 and set that as a default, it will automatically choose that template for you as your system template. So that's how we customized templates in CAS 360. Now, the next lesson, then the last one, will be your what we call freeform documents. So in CAS 360 on your navigation toolbar, you will find this icon called Freeform. Freeform allows you to customize or and add in any external documents that are not part of CAS 360 standard documents, whether it's onboarding template, agreement forms, your checklist, and all that. You can add that in to your CAS 360. The first that you can do, so this is an example of one example over here. Before you can start preparing, first you need to create the template. To create the template, select the freeform template. So I've got over here a onboarding templates. So I'm just gonna click remove these ones first so that you will have I'll just remove this part. So you will have a bit of idea how it looked like, because usually when you're first starting the software, you have this empty. Now, all the freeform templates that you store can get saved under your freeform templates. So to get started with freeform, you first need to create a new freeform template so you can store it in the template and use it for future freeform documents. So click create new freeform. And here you're gonna have to type and select in your the document type. So for example, if it's your customized resolution, for example. Let's say you do not want to use the ones in CAS 360, you just want to have your own freeform as well over here. And you can select whether you want it on a resolution type, letters, or freeform. By selecting this document type will automatically create a standard header for you. So if you've seen this headers that we have, it's a different formatting. It will select the system style of header. If you want it, for example, just a free form, it means that essentially it will just be a blank page and you can copy and paste your type of template. So you have over here whether on a company, contacts, and trust. By selecting that, which means that this template is applicable on a company level. Here you can just customize your templates, whatever templates that you've added in. So I'll just put in here is sample text, so you can see how it looked like. And with freeform as well, similar to freeform, you will have a CAS 360 dictionary available for freeform. So I'll share this also in the screen so that you can save this. I'll put this in the webinar chat. You can bookmark this when you start exploring these particular features. So you've got different codes available for you. You've got the company names, company contact. You can also add it if you want in the uppercase and lowercase. And addresses. So you can use this code to actually input into your free-form documents. So let's say I want to add in my company name over here. So I'm going to go back. You have the meeting address, for example. You can add that as well. So just going to simply show to you how it will look like. It's simply adding in this code. And how they will identify is depending on which company you selected, you apply this particular text. Just add this thing in. Okay. So I'll just do this for a meantime. Okay, I'll put it here. And what will happen is usually you'll be able to see preview this document, for example. So whatever you copy and paste, and also the codes that you've added in within the text, you'll be able to preview that. Once you select that, you can click next, save and proceed. Once you save and proceed, this will prompt you to choose which company you want to apply these templates. So for example, if I want to apply it in this company, click proceed. And when I click prepare forms, the free form, it will display the text for me. So this is how we customized if you have any text paragraph or any external documents that you like to add into the process, you can simply add it into your free form. This is usually good if, for example, you have your onboarding, your agreement forms. This can be added into your free form documents. Now, in your freeform documents as well, another quick tip is that in freeform, you can also select other system template, particularly, for example, your financial year end. If you need to prepare a change of financial year end, this can be found in your freeform documents as a minutes and resolution style. You can also have, like, if there is this one's a little bit more in a different jurisdiction. If you want to change your solvency resolutions, that can be added in as well. We also have our system default or agreement freeform. This is something that I have created. Again, it's similar. Similarly, you have the text over here. You can save and prepare or save and proceed and apply it to the company you want to process. right? So this is how we process and prepare and also navigate with your freeform documents in CAS 360. All right. So this is pretty much the end of my level 2 session. So I'm just gonna quickly share, sorry, here. Any questions so far? Any questions? Right, so we had one question about downloading your register. So the downloading the register will be as on the dates. So for example, I'm just gonna go back to my CAS 360 over here when you're downloading registers. So when you're downloading registers, you can change the report date. So in every reports available in CAS 360, you have the ability to select the report date as of the day. So for example, if let's say you want to generate a report or a register based on 1st of May's register, right? Let's say if there hasn't any information about this company, no any changes before during the 1st of May, as of 1st of May. So you can just simply change that so you will display whatever information, whatever company updates that happen as of that 1st of May. All right. Anything that happened after the 1st of May, it will not display. So this is a great way if let's say you can backdate, if you need a backdated registers, backdated information and reports in when generating reports from CAS 360. All right. Any questions so far? All right. If there's no questions, thank you so much for joining me for my training session. So if you do have any questions, again, feel free to reach out to our live chat support log a support or you can also reach out to my email if you have any questions. I'm also happy to arrange a client visit at your office if you need more of a hands-on also catch up. I do some catch up calls as well from time to time just to understand where you're at in your adoption process and to answer some of your queries of the product as well. All right. So thank you so much, everyone. I hope you have a good evening ahead.